Hey guys, how's everyone doing? I'm gonna wait for a couple people to pop on and then we'll dive right into it. But I am here to talk parties. I'm gonna tag a couple of people, some people from my team. Maybe we can get some people on here. So yeah, my name is Caitlin Daly. I'm a Purple Status Unique Presenter. I've been doing this since 2017, and I was in the top 10 for qualified rewards links for the past 2 years, and I'm still in the running right now for the next convention. So I do a lot of parties, and I think I do them pretty well. And I think I've got some good tidbits to share with you guys, especially stuff that like I kind of wished that I knew right in the beginning. But yeah, when you are here, just let me know and say hi, and let me know any questions that you might have about parties or networking, affiliates, anything like that, and we can kind of just talk about it. Okay, hey Michelle, how are you? Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you like a little bit about how I run my parties while some people hop on. Please say hi, tell me any questions that you might have or anything you wanna talk about. I know, I wish we could share them too, right? You can actually, if you're watching me right now, Michelle, click the top 3 dots and save the video, then go into your Facebook, hit saved, and then you can copy the link into your group so that they can still watch me live. Hi, Suzanne. Okay, so this might come as a shock to a lot of you guys, but I actually still run 10-day parties in private Facebook groups. That is what I started with. Hi, Erica, thank you. I just had to do a little glow up and I needed that flaunty lip. It's like bringing me life right now. So I started doing it that way. My upline is Michelle Poulin, and she actually was live in this group last week talking about parties. She's been in the top 10 of parties. She kind of like taught me her ways. Something interesting about the two of us is that we met in an online party. My mom was hosting for Michelle. And I was just like, before I became a presenter, I was just super not into the online party thing. I thought they were lame. I really just had no time for it. And it's not that I like didn't like them. I just didn't like spend any time commenting on them or looking at people's websites or anything like that. Hey, Linda. It just didn't interest me. And my mom was like, hey, I'm doing this makeup party. Can you please just go into the group and comment on this stuff so that like things will pop up to friends? She's like, I just want to make sure people are commenting and, it's worth her while. And I was like, of course, I'll do whatever for my mom. So I literally went in and I'm like commenting on this stuff. And then I was like, hey, I'm kind of interested in this. So my mom had gotten me a few things, but that was like my first online party experience. And like, I always joke about it because now I'm like in the top 10 of parties, and I was like the person that was like, I can't stand Facebook parties. And now I make a living doing it. So funny how things work out sometimes. Hey, Carrie, hey, Jordan, hey, Ashlyn. So yeah, so I do 10-day parties in private groups. I know a lot of people have switched to affiliates. I am a very strong believer in like figuring out what your little networking niche is and kind of just sticking to it, because I know some people that absolutely slay affiliates. I'm not great at affiliates. I'm not going to say never, I will never do them, and I've done them in the past. But they're just like not my thing. Like I don't feel like I'm very good at them, but I would try them again and try to revamp it. Some people are straight killing it at affiliates and they think parties are boring. Totally get that. Some people do like live video parties or like beauty battle, like, with multiple hostesses. So we're going to talk about all sorts of things, but I honestly think that you should find the thing that works for you and always try new things and see how it goes and just kind of stick to it. I'm able to do affiliates and it fizzled. What's the best way to relaunch? Brandy, that's a great question. Hi, Yvonne. So I find this is a great place to start, actually. So thank you for that question. So I find I'd like to always constantly have parties going, because if not, I find myself falling into a slump. You can take a couple of weeks off, but then once you the ball gets rolling and you've taken quite a bit of time off of doing parties, you kind of end up in this weird little funk where you're like you're not talking to new people, and then you don't even know who to ask to host parties. So my best advice for like getting back in the game, choosing affiliates or parties or whatever you're gonna do, is to force yourself, maybe like set a timer on your phone and be like, set like a timer for like 20 minutes and be like, I'm gonna like rack my brain and figure out who can I ask to do these parties. Because I actually did this yesterday because I was thinking, I didn't, my last round of parties ended at the end of February, something like that. And I hadn't had any on the books, and Sherry asked me to come in here and talk, and I was like, I'm such a fraud. I have no parties right now. So yesterday, I was like, I'm gonna get some parties. I had asked some people like the week before, and I didn't really get any responses back, but it was just like here or there. And if I don't answer your question, I'm gonna go back up. I just get wicked squirrel brain, so I'm gonna try to not look for a second. So I had like not so great luck, but it was just people that like popped into my brain, so I was asking them. So then I had this moment yesterday where I was like, I don't have anyone to ask to host a party. And then I was like, okay, you're being ridiculous, because like what would you give as advice to one of your girls? And it wouldn't be that, because we've all felt that way at some point. I was like, I literally don't know who to message to have a party. So I was like, okay, we're gonna fix this, because this is negative and it's not helpful and it's pushing me deeper into this hole. So I went into my last few parties. So I had 2 parties. One, Jordan is on here. She was one, and she signed up, and she's crushing it. She's doing so good. She's on her way to Fast Start. So I wasn't going to go into her party. The other person that had a party, they, a lot of her friends are like repeat customers. So I did ask a couple people there, but then my previous party was like a multi-hostess event. And I actually went through my list of all the people that I friend requested in that party, and we'll go back to that, but all the people that I actually sent a friend request to and they accepted, and that I had that means I had like some sort of interaction with them, either in the party we were commenting back and forth, or I sent them a message and they accepted my request. So I didn't feel like spammy being like, do you want to do a party? Like, we had some sort of conversation at some point. So I went through those people, and I messaged a bunch, and a couple of people were super quick to respond and very polite, and they were like, not right now, no thank you, which was great. And I was like, thank you so much for responding quickly like that. I actually appreciate that. But I ended up getting 5 hostesses. So I'm starting a foundation master's class tonight, which I've never done, but this we'll talk about too. This is different than what I normally do. It's gonna be 5 days, all about foundation bundles, multi-hostesses. So the hostess that gets the most points is gonna win an extra prize. That's the little motivation to do it. And sometimes I feel like people are more likely to say yes to the multi-hostess. Oh boy, guys. Are you still there? Sorry, I'm in a windowsill and it just literally flipped for no reason. Sorry about that. But sometimes I feel like people are more likely to say yes for a multi-hostess event, because I think it like takes the pressure off of them, because other people are involved in it as well. Now my light's all messed up. So that's what I'm doing. So you guys are to thank for that, because I had to come live in here and I was like, oh my goodness, I have to. Okay, so now my phone's going crazy and it's telling me people are all over the place. I'm just gonna check in with the comments really quickly. Affiliates worked and now they don't. Never had parties. Okay, that's great, Erica. So I know, how many people in here do affiliates? Wow, you just had a party for the first time, Michelle. 850 in Pure S. That's amazing. I will say a lot of my parties don't get that high anymore. I used to have high selling parties, and now they pretty much like just qualify or like a little bit more. So that's fantastic. No responses to your requests. Anyone tried an online event? I have not. Okay. Perfect. So let's get started. And if you guys think of something, feel free to drop it in the comments and I will get to it once my brain is not Squirrel City. Okay, so we kind of already talked about this, but I'm going through my list so I don't forget anything. First party mid-March, awesome. Thank you, Kelsey. I just needed like the brightness today. It's actually nice in New England. It's like maybe it was like 50 degrees today. I went for a walk, put on hot pink lips. I did self-tanner. I'm feeling fresh. How do you approach someone to do a multi-hostess event? I can tell you like exactly what I wrote in Messenger. Hey, Andrea. But I really, whenever I ask people to host, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So I want that block of text to be like this small, like a couple of sentences. So I've said something like, oh, where are you, Michelle? I'll say something like, I kept it very simple. So I said, hey, Michelle, I'm doing a foundation master's class this week. It's going to be a multi-hostess event. And we're going to be talking just foundation for 5 days. It's probably less wordy than this. And you'll have a chance to earn Y-Cash, and the hostess that has the most points at the end of the 5 days is going to win this necklace. And I sent it, I'm a Rhonda Madrid affiliate, and I picked out a necklace that I purchased with credit. So I sent that picture too for attention, because I feel like they saw my message pop up and be like, ooh, what's that? That's a pretty necklace. You know what I mean? 65 in Beverly, get it. So it's very simple like that. And that's exactly how I ask people to host too. I'll be like, hey, hey Andrea, I'm hosting, hey Andrea, I'm starting some beauty classes on Thursday. Do you want to do one? Like literally that's it. So simple. It requires a response, like a yes or a no. Like I try not to be like, hey Jordan, I was wondering if you wanted to do a party this week. No big deal if you don't want to, just let me know. You can just like answer me and let me know what day works for you, because that leaves it iffy and kind of like the ball is in their court. I like to just ask them a direct question, yes or no. And then that opens, and some people ignore it, that's fine. Some people forget, that's fine. People I love the most, they're like, I'm actually okay right now, but thank you anyway. Like I love that direct and politeness, that this speaks to me. But I like to keep it really simple. I'm a person, if I see a block of text come through in Messenger, I immediately am like, ugh, because it's just like, it's like, I just don't have time to deal with that right now. And when I see a huge chunk of text, you know what I do? I read the top, I read like a sentence in the middle, and I read the bottom, and then I think about it and I answer later. Do you know what I mean? But if you just get a quick like one sentence, hey, do you want to do beauty class? It's like, boom, yes or no. Do you know what I mean? And of course it's not always gonna be that way, but that's just my vibe and that's how I prefer it. You know what I mean? Okay, so find the format that works for you. If affiliates work for you, that's amazing. I'm not gonna go into like the difference between the two. I guess I kind of will. My only thing about affiliates, and I had a couple people ask me in the group, how to like gain connections with people. And I think that's sometimes what's missing in affiliates, but some people do affiliates really well. But I think it's harder to make connections with people in affiliates because you're literally just borrowing someone's Facebook wall, and then you're like poaching the post, you know what I mean? Which is totally fine, but it's harder to find. You have to like comb through them, and it's harder to make that connection because you're not running the show. So if it's like in a Facebook group, to me, you're kind of running the show and you can friend request them. So definitely, whether you're doing affiliates or you're doing online parties in groups, definitely friend request the people. So if you have some kind of connection with someone that's, you know, if you're doing affiliates, you do lash picks and someone's like, those lashes are amazing, like comment, like their comment back, and then send them a quick message so that you, and like a friend request so that you can maintain that connection, because it takes more than one post to like start a friendship with someone on Facebook, and that's like the most important thing. Okay, we're gonna go all over the place because that's how my brain works, and I hope you guys are fine with that. Buckle up because my brain's going on a little ride. I just made like a bulleted list of random stuff I want to talk about. So next I'm going to say, well, let's talk about networking. So I kind of dived in a little bit there. So what I do in my parties, pretty similar the same time, and I wish, like every single time, I wish that somebody had told me this when I first started parties, because I definitely missed a lot of connections this way, but I just didn't know. But now I know. When I start parties, say the first night, you know, the guests start to trickle in a little bit, and I will usually do like an icebreaker on the first night, something super simple. I try to keep it fun. A lot of times it's like not even makeup related, or sometimes I do, one really popular post is a picture of my face. I actually just made it. I've always asked this question as a party game, but I just made an actual graphic with my face, which is, I should have done it months ago, years ago. But it basically says like what best describes you. And I talk about the raffle. I tag everyone that is in the group, and I don't do this a lot. I just do it in the first couple of days for fun stuff only. So for like the raffles, I tag them all so that I know that they can see it at least, or they'll be notified to see it. And I will say like which one best describes you. A, no makeup. B, neutral. C, I think I'm wearing this lipstick in the C picture. I like to try new things. And then people will comment. And then once they do comment, a great time to post this is like 8 p.m. at night. Once people do comment, I try to make myself available. If you've got something to do, no big deal. But if you're able to be on your phone when you post it, people are on their phone a lot at like 8 p.m. at night, or, you know, from like 7 to 10 is like a hot time. I feel like 8:30 is like super hot. People are just messing around on their phones. I try to be somewhat available so that when people do comment, you have like this quick back and forth. So if someone will be like, I'm a B, and then I'll be like, hey Andrea, that's awesome. Like what's a go-to look for you for a neutral look? And I almost always get a response back. And I switch up. I don't ask them the same thing every time, but I'll just try to like delve a little bit deeper to keep the conversation going. And when that happens in real time, I send them a friend request. So boom, now they're my friend. And now they're seeing everything that I'm doing on my Facebook wall for that whole 10 days that we're doing the party and beyond, as long as they don't unfriend me. Do you know what I mean? So that way I'm letting them into my life. and I'm building a connection that is going to go past this party. Patty, I respond in the comments most of the time when I'm doing if I'm doing like a raffle and we're just like talking about something, I usually will respond in the comments. This is like part one of my networking. So I get as many people as I can in the raffle games and I friend them. And that usually gets me like a good chunk of the guests. And then a few days later, I kind of have no rhyme or reason to this, and sometimes I wait a little bit longer. But a few days later, I go through the people that I have not friend requested yet, right in your guest list, and I send them a message, and this is what I send them, and you can choose what's going to work for you because you want it to be you, but I make sure that it's not salesy, that I don't want them to buy something from me, that I'm saying hello, that it's light and fun, easy breezy, but I send them a Facebook message, and it usually it's a cute little graphic of what I'm giving as like a prize. I'm hoping that my phone does not die. I may have to go grab a charger if it does. We're in low power mode. But it's a graphic of what I'm giving away, and then I basically will just say, hey Patty, thank you so much for joining Tiffany's beauty class. I just wanted to let you know I'm giving away this cute little bag and a scrunchie. All you have to do is comment on the raffle posts. If you want an easy way to find them all, just type raffle into the search bar and they should all come up. And I'll say something like, good luck, have a great weekend, something like that. And then I send them a friend request at that same time. And more times than not, they usually just accept it and they say thank you. And then a lot of times they go in and they start playing the raffle games. It's perfect. Some people ignore it and it's no big deal. Yes, thank you, Tiffany. So that's basically how I do my networking. It's more so that I want to make friends with these people than that I want to sell makeup to them. You know what I mean? I'm going to take you guys on a little ride because I'm going to grab my charger just in case we lose battery. But that's my main thing. And I can't tell you like how many times I have had people come back that I met in a party, that never bought anything, that I just kind of like were Facebook friends with them. And I'll tell you a funny little story. I was doing my makeup really, really fast before this live, and I saw a little message come through. Let's see if I don't even know where the plug is in here. I saw a message come through, and it was from somebody that I met in a party, and I couldn't even tell you what party it was, okay, because it was so long ago. And she was like, sent me a picture of, I'll tell you about the raffle games in one sec. She sent me a picture of, I'm so sorry about like jostling you guys around, another, like a Black Status presenter that I follow, and she's just like, hey, I need this lipstick, so tell me what she has on. And it actually said what she had on. And she's like, also, I'm finally ready to get foundation, concealer, and primer. And I was like, you're kidding, because all of those things are on sale this month. But this is a person I met probably over a year ago. We have talked in Messenger about non-makeup related things. Like, she's like someone that will sometimes comment on stuff, and we've had regular conversations. This is the key, not about makeup. And she's like, I'm finally ready to buy foundation, which is great. I don't know if she'll buy it, but she reached out to me because she was like, I need makeup. I'm gonna message Caitlin. Do you know what I mean? Like, you stay on their brain. Okay, Michelle said, what is the raffle game? So I just give away something really inexpensive in my parties, usually like a really small bag. I have them right in here. If you want me to grab them, let me know. They're from Shop Miss A. I switch it up all the time, but they're like $1. Cute little canvas makeup bag. Sometimes I do velvet scrunchies from Amazon. I've done millions of different things and I change it up all the time. Sometimes I randomly feel really gifty and I'll do like actual makeup items for like a multi-hostess event just to try to like get the interest going and get someone to try something new. And I always use like YCash for that. Don't spend your own money. But I like to do a raffle to get people involved. My raffle games are always fun. Like, you know, when you see interactive posts on Facebook, like even something silly like, what are you guys making for dinner tonight, would be an amazing raffle game. Now that I'm saying that out loud, I should write that down. I'm gonna do a dinner post in my next one, because people love to just like comment little things about their lives, and they're just gonna get like a raffle ticket for commenting. Do you know what I mean? Because they're participating. So just like easy little stuff like that, and that's how you have those regular conversations with people. Okay, so that goes right into what I was gonna say. They want to get to know you like as a human. People really don't care too much about the makeup. That's why I do little raffle posts and regular, I put like some of my regular life posts in there too. I just share them into the groups. I like let them into my life a little bit, and I do like interactive posts that have nothing to do with makeup, because a lot of times that's not really what they're there for. They just want to get to know you as a person. And then another thing I've really tried to work on as I've grown in this company is creating like useful, valuable, and original content. Okay, so let's touch on all three of those things. We all gain inspiration from people that we watch, and that's totally okay. But my biggest thing to you, if you see that someone has this amazing post and you want to post that same thing, at least copy and paste the text, and when you go to type it in, change the word, like physically retype the whole thing as if you were writing a letter to someone that you love. Do you know what I mean? Like someone that knows you really well, because I see posts all the time that get circulated with like presenters and stuff, or even anyone else in network marketing, and I know that they totally copied it from someone else, because I know them enough to know how they speak and how they write, and just like the little things that they say. So keep it in your own words, because you want it to be you and you want it to be your brand. You're building your own brand here. You want to be 100% you. So keep it original. Whenever you can, like if you're a newer presenter, you might feel overwhelmed about having like photos of stuff. First of all, you could do a whole party on just mascara, just foundation, whatever. You could talk about the same damn thing for 10 days in a row, and it doesn't even matter, and you can put regular life stuff in there and you're good to go. Don't feel like you need to have all the stuff, because you don't, but try to use your own face. Of course, sometimes we'll come across like a really amazing photo. People in the press powder, I shared a friend wearing the press powder because I didn't have like a good photo of it on me yet. But when in doubt, always use your own face, because people don't care as much about seeing it on other people. They want to see it on someone that they know, or someone that they're getting to know, and being like, okay, so this is this girl I've been following, and this is her face. Like, you know what I mean? You want to build that trust. When you're putting up a stranger's face on the internet, they're not going to really have a real connection to that. And the other thing is be useful and be of value. So I try to be like, I definitely get into, I make like party scripts, and I don't really have like a mock party or anything. I'll just go off of my most recent party, and I just will share the same posts and change up the wording if I need to. But I try to like ask myself, like, is this post like for a reason, or is it just a post? Like sometimes it's just like, sometimes you got like those little filler posts like, oh, this mascara is bomb, and that's actually fine because you're showing something. But a lot of times I want to be like, all right, let me show them how to use this mascara. Let me show them how they can curl their eyelashes and use a hairdryer to heat up a lash curler. Let me show them how exfoliating their face is going to help their foundation. Let me show them how to do a super easy eyeshadow look. If you're showing someone, like if you teach someone how to do something, that's so much more valuable than just being like, look how pretty I look in this makeup. Do you know what I mean? Oh, you're welcome, Jocelyn. Let's see. All right, we're switching gears. If you guys want to talk more about that, let me know. This is something, so the two things, people on my team, I asked for their ideas, and they were talking about like how many times a day should you post. I usually tell people that they should aim for 5 posts a day and have it spread out. So it'd be like morning, noon, afternoon, dinner, late night, or like 8 p.m. and late night. Something that is beautiful is if you use Facebook groups, you get to use the scheduler, and that is huge. When I first started, there was no scheduler in private groups. But if you have like one day of your week that's less busy than the others, you can literally schedule out as far as you want to. So you could schedule out the whole party, and then you could just sit back and like work the comments. That would be amazing. But you have to do what works for you and your personality. I usually will do like a day at a time. I teach fitness like every morning pretty much, and I hate feeling like I need to be like rushed to do posts when I'm like teaching and I have not much time in between. So I try to at least get like my morning through noon done. And then most of the time I just do the whole day. And my general outline is like, if I'm scheduling stuff, I usually will do like 8 a.m. 10, okay, so I probably do like 8, 10, noon, and then I do like a couple in the afternoon, dinner time, nighttime. Thanks, Mom. I needed the hot pink. But yeah, but also like don't feel like locked into 5 posts if you think that that's too many. I think 4 would be like bare minimum, just to me. And I think you could do more than that. I definitely sometimes do like a crap ton of posts, but I spread them out. The only thing I will say is I remember I did have, this was many years ago, I had a presenter on my team and I was in one of her parties. This was like before scheduling was a thing, and she wasn't able to post during the day because of her day job, and then she would get home and she had kids and she wasn't able to really post until like 8. And I remember she would do like, it would be like at 8 p.m. you would have like 10 notifications from her between 8 and 8:30, and I was like, that was the only time where I was like, okay, this is a learning experience for me, because it was like kind of aggravating. Like if I didn't know who she was, I'd be like, oh my God, there's so many notifications. You know what I mean? And that's the only time I've ever been like aggravated by posts. I think if they're spread out, you don't really, they're in the shuffle of all of your other stuff and you're not really going to notice as much. So that's my only thing there, but I don't think you're going to post too much. The thing is, everyone, okay, when you're posting, it's a very like ego driven thing. Like you're like, oh my gosh, they're thinking about how much I'm posting, or they're like, well, why did she post that? Why did she post that one right after she posted 2 hours ago? But the thing is, no one really cares or is paying as much attention to us as we are to ourselves. So just forget about that, because most likely no one is on their phone being like, you know, oh my gosh, I'm seeing every single one of her posts. And if they are, chances are they're interested in it and they're not bothered by it. But no one's like, you know, keeping tally of your posts, because really everyone's busy and doing their own thing. So don't worry about that. Let's see. Talked about scheduler, what works for you. This is a great one. If you feel like you're bored of your content might be boring. I've definitely been through this where like you just get busy, and if you've got like a little schedule that you're used to for your online parties, or posts that you're used to doing, or even if you're doing affiliates and you have the same like 5 posts that you always send to your girls, don't be afraid to switch it up. If it feels stale to you, you might not be coming at it with the most enthusiasm. Just switch it up and see what works. Sometimes sometimes I'll switch things up just because I'm bored listening to myself, and then I'm surprised with what with like the feedback that I get, like positive feedback. So don't be afraid to switch up stuff, change it all the time, try to add more value. You know what I mean? And you can kind of just change little things too. Okay, this is a great point because I'm doing this now. So I typically always do 10-day parties, and I call them beauty classes, and they cover everything. I usually do skincare, mascara, foundation, eyeshadow, a little bit of lips, and I only focus on my favorites. Anything that's like not like a top fave for me or something I really feel like needs to be highlighted, I just kind of leave out, but I do most of the products. But I do my favorites like several times, because people need to see things several times in a row to get interested in them. However, one of my team members brought this up to talk about, I did drab to fab parties. That was just like the silly name that I called it. And it was kind of talking about, it was, I think it was in January, and it was kind of just talking about like quarantine and COVID, and how, you know, we're all kind of just like wearing sweatpants. I'm wearing joggers under here with this hot pink lipstick. And like I made the focus not so much on like, on makeup. It was about makeup and skincare, but I also threw in other stuff, and it was just like, here's things that we can do to feel good. Like I was talking about like my water bottle. I'm like, I try to fill this up right in the morning. This is my second one. Drinking a lot of water, it makes me feel good. You know, getting up and moving my body, taking care of my skin, washing my face at least, or putting on cute sweatpants, or putting on a bright lipstick if I feel like it. So just like changing up your content, and I focused it was like a drab to fab beauty party. It was multi-hostesses. And we had fun, I think, and it was just a good way to switch up my content. It was good for me and good to see like what worked and what people responded to. And then like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I'm going to do a foundation master's class starting tonight. I've never done one. I'm going to wing it. I wing everything. That's how I do my best work. So as soon as I hop off this, I need to do that really quickly and send out my message to my hostesses on how to invite and all that, and I'm just gonna wing it. We're just gonna focus on the Flawless 4 and then do some fun posts as well. So it's not all makeup, but I'm just gonna focus on foundation, concealer, setting powder, and setting spray. I'll talk about some skincare things like the exfoliating mask to get like your best application, and like little things here and there, but keeping it really simple. It's a great bundle, and that's like a hot seller, I feel like. So we're gonna see how that goes. But again, just like switching things up when you feel like things are getting a little stale. Let's see. Someone asked me about interaction in parties versus affiliates, and I already touched on that. Just meaning like you have more of a platform if you're using a group, in my opinion, so that you can like talk to people over and over again. Kim, for the multi-hostess one, it's just I don't do these a lot. This is like a newer thing. It's one party group, but there's going to be several hostesses in the one group. So they'll each have their own rewards link, but I'm just posting in one group rather than 5 different ones. So to get engagement, I mentioned this in the beginning, I will tag people in like in the first 2 days on like fun posts or really important posts. Like I will tag them on like the Unique Foundation post. I'll tag them about like the Love It Guarantee, usually the first icebreaker. And then like on the second day, sometimes I'll do a game where I make a little graphic and it says, how do you know the hostess? Answer in a GIF, and we'll guess, try to make it funny. And I'll tag people in that because usually people want to respond to that because it's about their friend. And it's like light and fun, and that way people see it and it draws their attention to the group. So that's how I get engagement that way. And then just like I said, like silly, non-makeup related fun games. Sometimes people like that too. But yeah, I think that honestly is actually most of my tips. So let me know if you had any other like burning questions or something I didn't cover. But I will end by saying, whenever I need to kick my own butt in this business, or if I'm feeling like things are not moving very quickly, or I'm feeling like I'm at like a stalemate, it's because I'm not doing parties. I know that people say this all the time, but it's 100% true. If you're not doing any form of networking, you're not growing, and you can only sell so many products to the same people over and over again. And of course, you're going to have loyal customers that will keep coming back to you, but you need to keep growing your network to keep growing in your business. Had this conversation with a friend that's a presenter yesterday. We were out walking and she's like, I feel like I've had a slow month. And I was like, you know what? I mean, my month has started off pretty well, but it's just like not as busy as I would like to be. And I'm like, it's 100% because I don't have any parties booked. I know exactly. I do it. We're all human, and sometimes we just fall into these things. It's like a pain in the butt to book parties and to run them. But sometimes it's like a adrenaline rush too to get them going, and like meeting new people. I find it very enjoyable. It breathes life into my business, and I like talking to people. So that's enjoyable to me. But you need to find new people. And let me see, I have a couple more things to say. So last month I was feeling sort of like blah about parties. I didn't have any, and I usually do multiple parties. Let me come back to that, so remind me if I don't. I usually do like a bunch at the same time. And last month, it was the very end of like the double rewards, and I realized, I was like, oh, if I start links today, I can have them for the next 10 days. So I grabbed them super fast, and I had someone saw a post that I put about, which doesn't ever happen, and she was like, hey, I would like to do it. So I did it with her. And then my friend Jordan randomly grabbed a party too, and then she ended up signing up, and I didn't even know that she wanted to be a presenter, and now she's like killing it, going for fast start. She's like loving it and feeling really passionate about it. So that's another reason, like, if you meet people in parties that you wouldn't even know like want this opportunity or just will love this makeup. I've met if I did a poll on my Facebook wall and I was like, how do you know me? So many people would say that they met me in a party. And some of them I consider like actual friends. I mean, a lot of them I haven't met in real life, but I talk to them all the time. And then another thing is sometimes I'll end up talking to them in Messenger, or someone will reach out randomly and say like, hey, I need a mascara. Can you message me a link or something? And something like that, you know what I mean? And I'll click on their profile. I'll go into Messenger. So this goes back to how I network. Go into Messenger, because I'll be like, I don't remember, because it's sometimes people that don't comment on a lot of things. Like, I don't remember how I know this person. And I'll click on Messenger, and our only message that we've ever had is the like, hey Patty, thank you for joining Julia's beauty class. I just wanted to let you know that I'm doing this raffle and you can win this cute little gift. All you have to do is comment on the raffle post. And that's our only interaction, and she accepted my friend request, but she's been silently watching me for a year and a half. And I can't tell you how many times that has happened. So if you ever think that you're doing a party and it's a dud and it was for nothing, I promise you there are no dud parties, because there's always a positive. There's always someone that you meet in a party that needed to meet you, I swear. So they're never a dud. So that's why I do several at a time. So I did want to touch back on that. I like to do up to like 5 at a time, because I have sort of a flow going. I've got a schedule, and I usually will do like 5 parties, run that out for 10 days, and I take a break, like a week in between, and then I'll do another one. So it's not like I'm back-to-back overlapping parties and just like constantly on Facebook, because I hate that. I'm already on Facebook enough. I hate having like 100 notifications when I wake up, but I like to bang them all out, because that way, if I have 5 parties and 2 of them are absolute duds, and then 3 of them I have at least one person talking to me in there. That makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm being productive. Sometimes if you have just one, and of course if you're just easing in there, feel free to do 1 or 2 parties to start, but I promise you, if you can do you can do more because you're posting the same content. So it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You might as well spread it all out, and you're more likely to be able to get that positive feedback back, because it's hard if you're like have 1 party and no one's talking. And even if someone might be silently watching, you don't know that, and it kind of kills your vibe. So that's why I always do several at a time. There's absolutely no dud parties. I can think back to a couple of parties where I probably complained to my mom, because she's my person I complain to, where I was like, this party sucks, it's a dud, I'm so aggravated that I'm spending all this time, and I always end up like finding this amazing teammate that becomes a friend, or an amazing loyal customer, or someone that like really needed my help that I don't know until later. You know what I mean? Then they're like, oh my gosh, so like, I'm so happy I found this. It gave me so much confidence. So never think that there's a dud party, because all the connections are meant to happen. All the connections with you were meant to happen. You know what I mean? I missed one. Okay, Patty, I don't go live in my parties because I go live on my personal wall. I do everything on my personal wall pretty much, and that way you can like easily share everything into the party groups. So when you first go live on your regular wall, it'll give you, like in the first few seconds, it'll say share to groups. So if I'm running 5 parties, I just quickly hit that, and then I bing, bang, boom, all the groups, and then I'm live in all the groups at the same time, and I'm live to my Facebook audience, which is just better. So I think that's it. It just told me that my phone is 10%. I plugged it in, but apparently not well, because I got 10% left. But let me know if you guys think of anything else. You can throw it in the comments, and I can answer it later. But I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you book some parties this week, because they are fun. They are worth it for networking and finding those connections, and they can be really enjoyable. You just have to put yourself into them. So be yourself, be creative, make original content, and have fun with it, and make some friends. So that's it. Bye guys.